Kelvin, congratulations on the win. Just get your thoughts just on, adding another title to the list of what these guys have gone through to get to this, part of the journey.
Yeah. No. Nothing happens easily. I mean, it's hard to win a game. That's the disconnect that people that have never coached or played don't understand, how hard it is to win a game. One of my really good friends is Tommy Amaker. I coached against Tommy when he was at Michigan, and Tommy's a hell of a coach. I mean, a really good coach. He was in Michigan 6 years and never made one NCAA tournament. I could go on and on and on and on and on. The problem with success is the more you have, the more it's taken for granted by people that have never coached and never played. They think it's easy. I hear people talking about getting to a Final Four. This school had been to a Final Four since what, 1983? Yeah. Well, if we go to one within the next 30 years, it would be before we went to the last one. So I don't take that stuff for granted because I do this for a living. That's why we've won 4 championships in the last 4 years, right? We could have won the regular season last year if the analytics had been different. But I don't take it for granted because I know how hard it is. I know how hard our kids work. Tonight we were stuck in mud a little bit there for a while. You can tell, heavy legs. Cincinnati had a lot of energy. They came out and was taking it to us, and we were just kind of dead like there for a while. The second half we picked it up, but Fabian. I'm always happy for my seniors, especially when they're the leaders. Fabian led this team. He's led this team since Marcus and Tremont went down. When I got the call on December 23rd, did I think that this team would win a conference championship? I didn't think one way or the other. I didn't think about that. I was just trying to figure out how we were going to sub. Who was going to be our substitutes? How we were going to handle our rotations? We were going to have to play more zone. I wasn't thinking like somebody that's never coached or never played. I don't think that way. I have to do this on a day. What we did was took each day as it came and tried to have a plan for these kids, and we came up with a good plan, and they followed the plan. We played 16 games. We've had a couple of games that we won that we could have lost. We lost the 2 games that we lost, we could have won. But if you play 16 conference games knowing you're going to play 9 road games, to go 14-2, it's pretty amazing. I'm proud of this group. I'm proud of Fabian, but I'm proud of this team for handling the adversity. Not being able to practice, because we need to practice, and not being able to do that on a regular basis like we have in the past. It wasn't easy. This was a difficult year in a lot of ways. It's not over. We got a big game coming up on Thursday, and so we get our kids as recovery as much as we can and get ready to play on Thursday. But some championships, we've been lucky to win a lot of them over the years. But some championships do mean a little bit more than others. And I think because of the mountain that these kids had to climb this year, with all the new guys. People talk about missing Tremont and Marcus. Well, we're also missing Quentin and Dejan and Justin, Bryson. The thing about the 6 guys that played in the Final Four run, our top 6 guys, none of them played this year. Not one of those kids played this year. Not in the conference. We had Marcus and Tremont in non-conference a little bit. But once we got to this 14-2 record is all these kids. first team went 11-2. This new group went 14-2. And being able to do that, and I think it's apropos that Fabian was the leader because he's been here the longest. He's been here with he's been coached by me more than anybody else. So I trusted him a little bit more. You know, I've given him a little bit more rope. But you know, I appreciate Fabian. You know, the seniors come and go. You know, but you miss them. You know, I may have to find a way to get him another year. See if we can get him a COVID year. May have to maybe negotiate with him. They didn't have to go through conditioning. We just let him get to the game since he's so old. That would be good. Okay, Fabian, you get to come back, but you don't. But you can just meet up with the team in November. You don't have to go through summer conditioning. You don't have to. That's a pretty good deal, Fabian.
Thanks.
So,
the decision not to cut the nets tonight, was it a matter of getting the guys out of here, get them rested, or
a little bit of that, and you know, we've got at least 2 days. I mean, this is a tough stretch. You saw what we looked like after one game. You know, we got 2, and we play again, what, 48 hours? No, 43 hours, 44 hours, whatever it is. I just know that our kids will respond to the best they can. Now, their best may not be their rested best, 3 days off best, but it's the best they can, the best they have. That's all I ask. Is just do the best you can. Second half, I think we, there was some stuff going on at halftime. I thought woke them up a little bit. Came out the second half, but we had our energy team. Our best energy team tonight was Kyler, Tajay, Ramon, Fabian, and Josh. That was our best energy team. You know, either giving energy or you're taking energy. You know, that's it. You know, we had some guys taking energy tonight, so we had to sit them down.
Chris, I'll come to you next. We'll go to James. James, go ahead.
Yeah, Fabian, Coach just talked about how, you know, you've won a lot of conference championships, but this one with all the adversity hits a little different. It's a little extra special. Do you feel that same way? You just talked about, from your perspective, what you've had to go through with your teammates and the way the guys have stepped up.
I haven't had to go through much. Once T. Mark and Mark went out, we all had it was just a general idea that we all got to step up and play harder than we was before. But yeah, this one hits a little different since we was counted out early in the season, even before conference even started. So just to have a chance to at least tie the conference champions is great for us.
Fabian, did you sort of take it upon yourself, you know, seeing how maybe some of the other guys were struggling to, you know, bring that scoring early, and did you sort of take this game that you had to sort of take it on?
Most of my points don't come off me, you know, isoing. It's from my teammates, you know, finding me in the right spots at the right time. But I was just trying to win the game, really, and that just happened to come with it.
Good. You have the mic there.
Kelvin, with 2 games left, do you change anything up in terms of how you want to approach things with either the lineup, or just to maybe some breather now that there's nothing at stake, or how do you look at that going into the tournament, the conference tournament?
Well, you want to finish off. You know, we've had 3 or 4 years. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Going undefeated at home. This year we lost a game. Don't shoot us. So we want to finish off our home schedule the right way. And Temple's really playing good right now, and they're on top of their game. I mean, they're good. But you know, the best win we've had all year was against Temple. That was by far the best win we've had because of the circumstances. You know, it was the next game after Marcus and Tremont was shut down. But also Kyler had a grade 2 sprained ankle against Texas State. He didn't dress out in that game. So we only had 3 guards, period. And I think probably about 10 minutes in that game, Fabian had to play the 3. So we were just piecemealing that thing together. as we do a lot of nights. But just finish the home schedule off right. As far as now that we've got the conference championship won, the biggest thing for us, and I don't know how much you can improve your seed this time of year. I think the seed thing is more for teams on the outside looking in than where we probably are. I thought the COVID year, I thought that team was probably a 6 or 7 seed. I'm pretty good at guessing our seeds because I've been in the tournament so many years. That team was a 6 or 7 seed. We'll see where this team is when the season's over. But you just want to finish strong. We just don't have the luxury of resting guys. We just don't. We don't. Who we're going to play? I'd like to say, well, you can rest these guys. Well, to keep score, you should try to win, right? We just don't have the luxury of being able to rest some guys.
Chris,
Probably need to, but we just can't.
Fabian, have you thought about one more home game? It's it for you. Give any thought to that just yet?
Nah, not yet. But probably tonight it'll probably hit me a little more. But playing my last home game here is the end of a long era for me, and it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be emotional after the game. Hopefully, it's off a win, not a loss. But it's gonna be very emotional for me. Emotional night.
Fabian, what was that halftime like, and how did it get you guys going?
Coach, does this thing where it gets us to play harder, and he got through our head at halftime, and we ended up playing harder. Got some guys started locking up better than they was the first half, and we ended up extending the lead a little bit more than what it was.
Is that as intense as you've seen, or you've seen it?
No, that was light, but I've seen it more intense. But he had his way to get us going on.
Kelvin, if I could follow up from a second ago, I don't know if it's a made-for-TV type deal, but a lot's made of the top 16 seeds, and that means four in each regional or better. Is that a target, or in terms of, do you feel like you got to get into that type of group, or
No.
or do you feel like
No, I think this is my 18th team I've taken to the NCAA tournament. We made the Sweet 16 as a 13 seed. Matchup. Who do you match up with? There are some teams that would be bad matchups for us. Maybe a one and done. We just play one game and go home because of the matchup, and you have a great seed. Every year there's a 12 and a 5 game where the 5 seed loses. It's not because that's an upset. It's because that's a tough matchup for that 5 seed. I've watched some certain teams, I'm not going to call their names, would be really tough matchups for us that people would say, well, we lose them, it'd be an upset. No, it wouldn't be. That's a hard matchup for us. Whereas a higher seed, we may be a tough matchup for them. So I just think when the bracket comes out, first thing you look at is the seeds is for the media and the fans, and I say that appropriately. It's not for the coaches and the players. We don't care. Now I'd rather be a 2 seed than a 16 seed. Don't get me wrong. But really, it's the year that Michigan don't hit that shot. Do you know what our seed was? 6. They were at 3. Did the seed matter when the ball was in the air? No, the seed means nothing, really. And I'm not saying that to act like I'm not answering your question. I mean that. Seeding for coaches that have been around a long time, that have coached in the tournament, advanced, all that stuff, doesn't matter. I'm much more interested in the style of play of the team we're playing against, because that's why nobody ever gets the brackets right. Teams that pick those brackets, it's impossible, because You say, well, I picked this upset. Well, it wasn't an upset. It's an upset because you looked at the number in front of the school's name and you assumed they were better. They're not. You know, it's just, I just don't get, I've always listened to the talking heads talk about, we had a major upset today. And guys that's in the business that knew their players and their style, you just roll your eyes. That was not an upset to them. Our team's better. It wasn't their fault that they got the wrong seed.
You got a couple more questions. Go
If
ahead.
I could just, speaking of the numbers, you know your team better than anyone. One of the things that's been brought up lately is that there's a lack of a quad one win. I know when it comes to net, you're not you don't follow.
Yeah, well, when we do the schedule, we schedule those games. You know, Tony Bennett's been a friend of mine for years and years. I have a lot of confidence in him. I knew what he was missing, but I also knew what he was bringing in. We thought that would be a quad one game. I looked at what Oregon had coming in. Who would have thought that wouldn't be a quad one game? Oklahoma State. You know, look where they were picked. They got the Sisse kid from. So the reason we don't have any quad one wins is because our quad one wins didn't become quad one wins. That makes sense, right? Okay, you know. So, so we had 5 quad one games. We scheduled 5 quad one games, 3 in Maui, at Alabama, Virginia at home, Oklahoma State, so 6. We had a potential of 6 quad one games, and just didn't work out that way. It happens sometimes.
Chris,
Coach, what does it say about Fabian's development that he's able to not only be that leader but also be that go-to scorer with a swagger that maybe you guys won't have.
Well, the best thing to say about Fabian, he cares more about winning than he does stats. And that's an amazing attribute because that doesn't happen on every team. We've been blessed here. I remember bringing Dejan in and sitting down with him after the Wichita State game. 2 games where he was our leading scorer was at East Carolina and at Wichita State. And I made sure he understood we can't win if you're leading us in scoring. And what did he do? He said, Coach, I'm all about winning. So I said, okay, here's how we're going to run our offense, so we're going to run it through and what we're going to run. He bought into it 100%. And that's why that team got to the Final Four. Quentin Grimes went from averaging 2 rebounds a game to averaging over 6 rebounds a game. Our best players have always embraced winning over statistics. I can say the same thing about all of our best players. But Fabian's greatest attribute is he's a mother hen. You know what a mother hen does? Mother hens make sure their biddies are close. Fabian will watch me chew somebody's ass out in practice, and he's the first one to go over and make sure they're okay. Or he's the first one to text them that night. And sometimes I said, Fabian, let them get through this. We're trying to save them. Sometimes parents need their child to be able to handle or see what adversity is. So I've had to get on him about even that. But that just shows you his heart and what kind of leader he is. That's why these kids love him. There's a big old mean Coach Sampson getting on me, but I got Fabian's got my back. But that's always been kind of a secret sauce in our program over the years is our player leadership.